As I was getting into the shooting of the film, I'd already shot the Azerbaijan stuff quite early on. Something about it wasn't right. It wasn't working. It seemed too clunky, seemed too plotty. And I had to find a way to reintroduce Electra into the film. We'd seen her at the funeral. She'd hardly said anything. And then I needed a really strong reintroduction to her because we had to think she was the leading lady of the piece and the romantic interest in the piece. So I needed a much more romantic opening. So this one really didn't cut it, the two of them driving through an oil field. It just wasn't working. And then I came up with the idea, and this was about a third of the way through the shooting. Why not junk all that? It just seemed a much more elegant way of telling the story. I didn't seem to be ramming the politics down the audience's throat, and I was able to give a much more romantic and powerful introduction to Electra. So that was interesting, because that's something that happened while we were shooting.
This must be the scenic route.
Do you know what you're looking at? There was a time when this was the most coveted spot on Earth.
Yes, I know. These oil fields were discovered at the end of the last century, seized by the Soviets in 1919. Hitler wanted them. Stalin and Khrushchev used them to fuel the Cold War.
It was my mother's people who discovered the soil. Bolsheviks slaughtered them for it. When the Soviet Union fell, this is what they left us.
Chernobyl of the oil world.
Some say the oil is in my family's blood. I say our blood is in the oil.
The last deletion is really, again, just a piece of shoe leather. It just seemed really not to add up to very much, which is a pity because it's a great location. 21st, 22nd century location for that, something really unusual. It was all for nothing because truly it didn't help the story along.
Nice of you to join us, 007.
We hit about 90 minutes ago. There's a scientist here from the International Decommissioning Agency, Dr. Jones. She's checking to see if she can find anything.
Look at that. That's not right.
What is it?
An observation rig. Travels inside the pipe looking for cracks, but there's nothing scheduled.
Shut it down.